YouTube, what is good? Absolutely somewhat crazy of a day. Day before CPI. So starting off, I had originally was looking for a move down in this fair value gap off of NASDAQ, all pre-market to take previous day's high. So that didn't happen. This was a breakaway. That was totally incorrect. So as we were going into New York and when I actually woke up, I noticed the sell model that we kind of had going on here in just the sake of rejecting highs and breaking lows, turtle souping failure swings. So you're probing the order flow short. What I was originally looking for was some type of expansion down with like this internal could go for even this BISI. Something to hit this and expand down. So by the time 9:30 occurred, this sell model being done, it's one of those things where you want to ask yourself, what are you about to do for the rest of the session? So as we were going into New York, we had this sell side to expand and move towards, and we completely failed to close below it, as well as just midnight open itself. So same idea with oil a couple days ago. When you're running all overnight liquidity, there's only one side left, especially when you're doing that right before a session or anything like that. There's only one, in terms of really, really recent liquidity, is left to go for. So even though all of these were turtled and should be protected up until your 9:30 open, when you take all of this sell side, basically as New York session opens for the stock market, you don't have much else left to go for since all overnight is now gone. I guess besides this, but even then it hits right back into futures open. Anyways, so you get retracements, rejection block ideas forming, and it looked pretty clean on ES as well. ES was really just honestly a 2022. So ES, same thing, running all of that internal sell side before market open. Now there was a huge upthrust at 9:30, so that allowed for once your 10 o'clock hour starts, you can think power of 3 on the 1 hour candle, as well as this movement here to retrace and then push higher without the proper retracement back into this inefficiency. It allows for an internal run to get everybody out that was trying to chase this long. One last push down, and that allows you to look for longs like we did in the Discord down in here. 10-13, 10-16 to look for longs, and then you can apply all the same things afterwards. Again, that downside delivery idea. You have downside delivery through here and here, so it only needs to come back to that area, and then you're getting also just BISI continues all the way through. You get another one up here, so you end up seeing a new high. Basically get one here, and all the way up to 11:30. Even worst case, you have a time-based exit to go off of, and then the one idea you would have for the BISI continue ends up failing. So at the very, very least, even if you were trailing hard, you could have been out at the fair value gaps or anything like that. But a time-based exit ideally would have been like the good thing to save you, in all honesty. So, but that was pretty much it. The downwards move after, same honestly 2022 idea, just going the other way. But I was completely checked out by then. I was just looking for morning session since it was the day before CPI. But and again, SPX on an RTH chart, very, very clean. Just sweeping the lows. One last sweep, and then breaks up, and then just continues all the way through. And it's, again, that's during macro, during all that stuff, and everything like that. Now, as for the good stuff, CPI tomorrow. I heard a guy from a guy that CPI could come in hot again. So with the way Forex is setting up right now, it's very, very possible that we're going to get some kind of huge release or like a hot inflation. We're coming off of NFP from last week. All of this range is pretty much balanced, so there's not real much of a need to trade back into it. So it coming down up to here is really all it should need to allow for moving higher. If it does want to sink into it, that's fine. But I would not put a lot towards it, especially if you look on something like a 2-hour chart. All of this sideways movement here is just balancing the range, especially this extra shuffle here. There's no reason for it to need to come back here at all. Like, it should really be to the top of the sell side deliveries, like what we should be looking for, in all honesty. Or maybe if it wants to hit this failure swing or anything like that, but nothing actually like deep down below 103 should basically not be touched, and that range is pretty much already dead. So with the way the highs are stacking, very, very inclined for some type of movement like that. And even if it does want to sink, can very easily just resuming higher for the rest of the month. Just for power 3 ideas, but if it's going to want to start off bullish manipulations at the month low that early, can likely continue higher. Now, as for the indices, because of having a bullish report, I am very, very inclined for some type of movement down underneath all the internal that we have here through Wednesday. And especially on a daily, end up coming in and sinking into this order block. So some type of aggressive, like super hot print, which is really, you know, 240 points, especially if we move down towards that overnight as well. It's not that crazy of a release if it comes in like crazy. We can hit the order block and then bounce and eventually see new highs for the index for the rest of the month, or at the very, very least see a new high here. But if we're going to do that this high up, you need to generate sellers just like every other move. If there's not old sell side liquidity pools to be using like that, you have to use what was just created and recently used. Meaning, as you're coming, for example, all the up moves in general, truthfully, everyone that chased off of this, especially the people that were here and here buying this high, they're getting stopped out. It's generating sells at new highs. I'll say that again. It's generating sells at new highs in terms of the entire range that it's coming from. So it's using the most recent range to generate more sellers to allow it to continue to move higher in its direction in this case. Same thing here. Run all these internals on the daily, generating sells at highs to allow it to keep going. Same thing here. Run internal, generate sells at new highs to keep going. Same exact thing that I'm looking for here. Just a deep scare that's going to get everyone to think they need to sell, but it's really just a fall into smart money's hands and then continue. Would be the idea. And again, that would still line up with the inflation report if it ends up coming in hot or anything like that. So that's the main idea for now. And even on Forex, very much same thing. Euro is double lows. They were turtle, but they're kind of used now. And so you can very easily make an argument for some type of LR setting up, hitting some delivery, starting to shift down low that broke the high, again broke, all that stuff. So there's a case for that on EU, and there's a case for that on GU as well. And looking at the other USD pairs real fast, UJ, we would have a bullish type of move, so it could very easily be fair value gap wants to run into this breakaway here and go from there and just kind of invert off this or do something like that. UCAD, same thing, really sitting at its order block right now. So, and again, look at the stacked highs we have on the daily. So something like a report can allow for an LR where an LR previously occurred in that range. And also, if you want to think of magnitude ideas, this down move went this high. If you're looking for that, you're basically looking for that same type of magnitude-ish area. So as you come back into that area, you're looking for essentially the exact same magnitude in terms of a move. It doesn't have to be some super exact number like standard deviations or anything. It's just an estimate or something close. Like if you move 150 pips, be willing to move 140, 160 pips, like plus or minus 10, for example, or something like that. So it's not going to be a clean one-to-one, but it can be enough to look like the exact same thing that just happened from the same spot. And that's something I'm kind of just working on and thinking about. But as of right now, yeah, that's pretty much the main plan is a hot inflation report. So, and gold, I guess same thing, yeah. Can run for this. It's on sell side of the curve, hitting 20-day high that was here. Even though it is discount, can very easily move its way down off the report come to here, anything in here, whatever it wants. And this really could just be an internal run, in all honesty, for gold. But that's way far out, so we'll go from there and see. But as of right now, that is my, yeah, even Aussie dollar. That's like my gun to the head answer. Everything's just a sell model. It's just gonna, this is just essentially generating extra sell side for people to think that's a double bottom. So it's allowing new liquidity in to flush them out to ideally continue, but who knows. So we will see come 8:30 tomorrow, and we'll go from there. Anything else, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.